Thank you ever so much, Mark. Well, you've beaten me to it now. So, we're now going back to our student presenters. So again, remember how difficult it is to stand in front of everybody. So, show your appreciation. Siobhan.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Siobhan Eleri, and I'm a second-year student on the BA Primary Education with QTS course. And my topic of choice to share with you all today is Stori Sparcs, Straeon I Sbarduno. 4 million adults in the UK stated that they never read books for pleasure. In 2013, a survey found that a quarter of British adults said they had only picked up 2 books to read for enjoyment in the past 6 months. These drastic figures are shocking. But why do so many people avoid reading? And more importantly, how can we as teachers of the future make sure that our children do not repeat these patterns? Our job as teachers-to-be is to provide those children with a platform that allows them to experiment with what they enjoy, be that areas of interest, activities, games, or finding the right stories to spark their senses. So, today, my aim is to share with you some stories that enabled me to spark students. But first, let's consider the meaning of the magic of reading. We've all heard of Pi Corbett and his catchy slogan, see it, say it, write it. He firmly believes that it is essential for children to read, not only to build solid blocks for building and becoming good writers, but also because of its beneficial effects on children's emotional and cognitive development. Sue Palmer is another strong believer in the bedtime story. She stands by the fact that as well as developing concentration and imagination, it enhances emotional well-being. So not only do they become good readers, allowing them to become good writers and achieve academically, but it also allows them, if you read the right way, to strengthen their minds, and the younger they start, the better. But what does reading the right way mean? Here are a few specific examples of what this means in practice, drawing from my own experience on placement. I had a Year 2 foundation phase class who had recently been introduced to the famous Welsh pirate Black Bart. The class teacher had used what was already out there to write a small descriptive piece for the pirate to inspire her class. Before I had arrived, they had used Pi Corbett's storyboard technique to learn the short story by rote. There are 2 aspects I would like to highlight here. 1, adapt resources, and 2, make it memorable. Because of the snappy sentences filled with alliteration, repetition, and idioms, the children managed to learn it in no time, and they enjoyed reciting it because of its language too. So by the time it came to my teaching time, my challenge was to elaborate on the reading they had already done. So step 1, read the piece and break it down, to discover the best ways to encourage the children to not only remember the piece and its language, but to engage with its content. From the short story, I collected many different ideas that led to hands-on, practical, and cross-curricular lessons. To begin with, I instantly transformed the reading to the outdoors by creating various activities in the enhanced provision outdoor areas. These activities included experimenting with Black Bart's treasure and assessing the weight of different items, as well as their ability to sink or float, finding and collecting his money and matching the images with the written labels for his gold and silver. Indoors, the children took part in supervised activities, such as tackling mathematical problems involving his treasure, but also a literacy activity that involved using a map and key to link up imaginative characters to discover where they went lost on the map and take them home. All of the above activities not only brought the book alive to them, but did so by developing different areas of learning. As a writing task at the end of term of work, they went ahead to create an address for their own ship, inspired by the one I had created for Black Bart himself. They had previously built ships and so used them to inspire their addresses. Their use of language here had been so rich, they managed to write masterpieces. Some might argue that in Key Stage 2, however, students should be reading more factual texts rather than fictional ones. To me, it is neither one nor the other, but a combination of both. They still need to develop linguistic techniques and vocabulary, and to do so successfully, they need to practice, practice, practice. I had a Year 6 class, and the theme of the term was based upon the book, The Lost Words. Bringing the books to life is as essential in Year 6 as it is in Year 2, so yet again we escaped the 4 walls of the classroom and endeavoured outside in our wellies. The outdoor activities included observation of the local wildlife, hunting for hidden creatures, and a nature walk for collecting leaves. Then I provided integrated learning opportunities. One example is the art and language lesson that followed, where the class created a bilingual and multidisciplinary dictionary. Another reading-based activity involved my using of the book to write my own Welsh description that the children then used to practice blackout poetry, an innovative way to get children to read and use what they've seen and recycle it into their own piece of writing. The class could not get enough blackout poetry, and the class teacher and I loved using it over and over again in different contexts. So before I bring this to a close today, here are the top 4 tips and tricks of the trade that I have found very useful and hope that you will too. 1, let the kids rule the reading. Go with what they know and what they want to know. The bigger the immersion, the better the outcome. 2, choose wisely. The books need to be relevant in content and rich in language. 3, say it like you mean it. Vary your tone of voice and read with meaning. You will not only draw their attention, but your modelling will manifest in them successful reading skills. 4, pull it from the page and bring it to the stage. Make it real, invite visitors, watch performances, and organise trips and hands-on practical experiences. Make it as alive to them as you possibly can, because if you bury your class in books, you will breed inquisitiveness, and if you cast over them a spell of stories, you will spark their imaginations. If you do this, then they will not only gain a love for reading, but they will gain an eager, confident, and imaginative approach to help them tackle the big, wide world that's ahead of them. Thank you all very much for listening. Diolch yn fawr am wrando.